Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I'm just sitting here drinking my morning coffee. Looking sexy as hell. For those of you who say I don't look sexy as hell when I'm drinking my coffee, nobody cares what you think. I didn't ask you shit. You guys, forearm shot. You know, I was going to make this video and kind of discuss that people need to understand that when influencers tell you that there's some magic exercises that's the secret to what they're doing, as if they've discovered something new. They're usually haven't won anything. It's ridiculous. But it kind of reminded me, you guys remember, let's discuss the above the knee rack pull. Because this is part of the problem with this platform, is that people are so easily swayed by popular figures who put out something that's trendy that it causes enormous amounts of harm. And that's the thing. That is one of my biggest issues always with Alex, is that he never apologized for the above the knee rack pull. That was probably his worst contribution to humanity, that damaged countless amounts of barbells and racks in people's gyms. I knew a gym owner who, because of him, got bars damaged. He cost them hundreds of dollars in damage to their gym equipment because he promoted that nonsense, and he never apologized for it. People got hurt because of it. People made no gains because of it. And the guy never came out and said, "Oh, hey, that was really silly. I was still a kid. I was learning. I apologize for that." No, because he made a lot of money doing it. He put it in his ebooks and stuff, made money. Okay? He can't afford to do that. That kind of highlights the problem. That is a textbook example of someone giving ridiculously bad advice, harmful advice, but everyone says, "Oh, this is the magic exercise, and I will have massive traps if I do this." The guy's traps weren't any bigger than anyone else his size. Like, they were the same size. And that doesn't mean they were small. You have big traps, right? But they weren't bigger than other people. I mean, he did collab work back then with Omar. Traps were the same size. And really, I'm at a point where I don't care what other people do out there, but if they're causing harm, it needs to be called out. If they are harming people, harming equipment, it needs to be called out. And I would say that harmed people because it harmed gym owners. Hundreds of barbells and racks were damaged because of that clownery. And it really is clownery. Like, everyone who is an expert in lifting was like, no, this is silly. But it got popularized. Okay? The potential for hypertrophy on it was actually less than on a normal deadlift, and way less than like a deficit deadlift. See where I'm going there? Increasing ranges of motion and putting muscles into more lengthened positions increases hypertrophy. Of course, people would say, but the traps were put in a lengthened position there. Yes, they were. They were put in a lengthened position. But not any more lengthened position than if you had just done a shrug. Okay. And just because you loaded a really heavy stretch doesn't mean that it ended up with more total tension, really. And none of it was dynamic. That would be like someone going, "Hey, I do a weighted incline curl with a 100-pound dumbbell and just hang it with a strap. And that makes my biceps grow." Probably a little. I mean, it would actually cause some stimulus, but it's not that big. All right, but it was ridiculous. Guys doing rack pulls with double their deadlifts for 3-inch ranges of motion. No movement pattern carryover because it's not a deadlift, it's not a hip hinge pattern. through extremely short ranges of motion, loading their spine with compressive force that they then have to recover from, that they haven't gradually built up to. Because it's one thing to deadlift 600 or 700 pounds when you've spent years building up to it and loading your spine with that. It's different. It's just an instantaneous, let's just do this. And then, so it created huge amounts of fatigue, caused injuries, damaged equipment. And everyone thought it was some big secret. It was so ridiculous. And I saw, and I made videos on this, I saw kids posting stuff. Oh, I've been doing these and they made my traps blow up. I've been doing, 500 pound above the knee rack pulls and my traps have gotten huge. And it would be some 150 pound kid with no traps. He's talking about how his traps just blew up. And I'm like, dude, you don't even look like you lift. And you don't have traps. What are you talking about? It was insane. Yet there it was. And then other influencers. And this is the problem, is the bandwagon effect. Some people saw this was popular with him doing that. Influencers who knew better got up and did it. They were doing it on camera. Instead of saying, hey, this is silly, this is nonsense, we shouldn't be doing it. They all did it. They jumped on the bandwagon. Monkey see, monkey do. It's clownery. It's clownery. And of course, I called this stuff out, but it wasn't taken as serious because I had gone through my own period of time with my own enormous mistakes, which I've owned up for because that had happened in a little short period of time. But it continued for years, so no one listened because they all thought I was a clown. Very unfortunate. Now, I will even own that. Had I not made those mistakes and people listened to me and I was more popular at the time, had I not made those mistakes, I could have maybe undone the damage of it. So I'll have to own that. Because I saw it, tried to call it out, but because I had already hurt my own reputation, damage was done. So I'll have to own that. So I guess I'm partially responsible. See how that works, guys? If we're up here putting out advice and information and we do something that prevents us from being able to put out helpful advice because we're not taken seriously now, we've done harm. As influencers, those of us who put out content, we have an obligation to prevent harm, not to encourage it. Everybody should have done it in that case, and they need to keep doing it when stuff comes out. When nonsense comes out, we need to be on top of it. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.